But for this segment, of course, we do have one of my favourite people in the entire world because he is my guardian. More than anything else, he has a piece of my heart. If there's anything I ever need to ask him, he's the first person I'll run to because my dad's not here. So he's basically saved as dad too. But other than that, he's of course, he's all sorts of things. He is someone who's converted derelict buildings into architectural treasures. He's not only that, he is a businessman, and the business itself isn't just in one sort of area, it's in many areas. And I feel like when I start the conversation with him, you'll learn a lot more. I do call him Sasa. I'll try not to call him Sasa on the show today, but it is Atique Islam Choudhury. Welcome to the show, Sasa.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
It's an invitation I could not refuse.
If you did refuse, I'll be very upset.
Absolutely.
But how are you, Sasa, today?
Absolutely fine. Perfect day today.
I'm so happy that you're here because I feel like we haven't caught up in a long time.
Yes,
But also,
because you've been very busy.
But you've been more busy because, again, like this man, what can I say? He is everywhere, anywhere. He is either inside the country doing 10 million things or outside the country doing 10 million things. But obviously, it's not about us catching up today. It's more about learning about what he does. So, Sasa, tell us. You're obviously born in the UK. You're born in St Albans, is that right?
Absolutely.
And you grew up, of course, in the UK mostly. And your heart lies in Bangladesh, of course, because I know you go to Bangladesh back and forth. You're always trying to do something for the people. Now, tell me where that comes from.
Really, it comes from the deep roots of our culture and how we put ourselves out. So from a young age, always my parents have invested in Bangladesh and kept very close contact with Bangladesh. So we've always been promoted to actually get involved and help and get involved in our family business and develop that side. And plus the charitable side that we're involved in as well.
Of course.
So, you know, when you're doing that, you go on a journey of learning in small steps. I remember in the early days, it was a bit of a challenge with the heat and the mosquitoes. And
yes.
But, you know, as you get older, you know, you start to really value it and understand that, you know, you have a strong base, not just in the UK, but in Bangladesh itself, being a British Bangladeshi.
Now, just a little bit about your background. So, of course, I know you had an older brother.
Yeah.
And of course, your father is Dabrul Islam Choudhury, OBE, might I say, but also Khalida Choudhury. Now, of course, growing up, Mum was a really strong woman. I know she was involved in politics.
Yeah.
And, of course, with Dada, you know, he is quite, I mean, what can I say about Dada? There's so much to say about Dada himself. But if you could tell me in a bit of your own words what it was like for you growing up back in the days in the UK, in the environment that you were in.
So if you can imagine growing up in UK during the time of East Pakistan, where our community was a very small community, and we were brought up somewhere quite remote, away from, you know, any other people. Our neighbours used to be, you know, in our community in St Albans, we had a few Pakistani families. You could actually count with your hands who was where. And I remember, let's say, during the time of Eid, you know, the prayers would be held in the Quaker house because there was no mosques and things like, you know, food. We had Tolly Boy rice. We didn't have basmati rice. And we had mangoes in tins, Alfonso mangoes in tins, and carnation milk. And it was very cold because the weather was very extremely cold and we had to dig our way out because there was so much snow. And you had coal fires, then there was paraffin. So, and the smell of clothes, you know, with paraffin was totally different. And as things improved and, you know, the network my father had of going around to all these restaurants, because he was one of the original pioneers of the Pakistani Restaurant Association.
Amazing.
Before the birth of Bangladesh. So we used to spend our time going and seeing different friends and family in different restaurants, and it was very interesting. It was a learning curve of connectivity and you know, getting things together and organizing things, because he was involved in the raising of money for the independence of Bangladesh.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about this just before we started the show as well. It was about identity.
Yes.
And I think at the time, like especially now, I think us Bangladeshi youngsters, we do face a lot of, you know, crisis with who we are, I mean, not so much now, but more so back in the days when it was
Yeah.
like, you know, a lot of people migrated from Bangladesh. There's a lot of cultural assimilation and things like that. What is it like for you? I mean, now that, you know, you've got to see the generation before us as well as the generation now. So
I think
does
for
it make you-
myself and, you know, my age group, you know, us British Bangladeshis who are in our 60s.
60s? No, Sasa,
Yeah.
you're not in your 60s. Come on.
I'm 62.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, we're at a very comfortable place because the way we look at life is we have the best of the UK. We're
Yes.
British Bangladeshis.
Of course.
That is our identity. And we can retain our British culture and we can retain our Bangladeshi culture, take the best of both sides
Yes.
and make something really special. So, you know, we're very comfortable. But, you know, the question we're asking ourselves right at this minute is this whole thing about Britishness and where we fit in. And we thought we'd tackle all of this and, you know, left a very strong legacy for our next generation like yourselves, where you would, you know, you have all the assets and the hard work and, you know, all the benefits of what the previous generation has left you. So it should be much easier. But when it's challenging, what I can see for yourselves, where there's question marks being asked,
Yes.
it actually puts us in a very awkward position.
Of course. Now, just going about your background, did you always want to go into the sort of business industry, or what was it that you wanted to do at, you know, at a young age?
Let's say both my brother and sister, you know, they wanted to go into studies
Yeah.
and became academics and became barristers. But from a young age, I always decided I wanted to be in business. So
Right.
I pushed that side out by getting involved in the school tuck shop, getting involved in collection of rent for the family. So
And it's always, because you've
Yeah.
always had your foot in something. Like, even now, I feel like whenever I speak to Sasa, when it's just one call away, Sasa's like, oh, sorry, Noshan, just busy at the moment, just doing something. I'm like, okay, Sasa, that's fine. And it's never the same thing. He's always doing something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, has it been something that has been of interest? Like, for instance, going into different areas. Like, for instance, you have a pharmaceutical company in Bangladesh as well,
Yep.
which goes by Mystic. So what kind of ventured that idea?
that was really started by my mother.
Okay.
And, you know, it's sort of, here I've started it, here it goes.
And that's it.
And here you go. So you get left, you know, a pharmaceutical factory where you have, you know, different people working, doing different things,
Right.
and you navigate your way through it. And then you have to really study it and understand the market, do the network behind it, and find out which is the best way and what is the best thing to do. I'm not a sort of pharmacist by trade.
Of course.
But I'm an entrepreneur and I look at costs.
Yes.
I look at risk. I look at potential.
But you make it
And-
look so easy. That's the thing. Like, I always tell you this. You make
Yeah.
everything look so easy. But how is that? Like, why is
It's like-
it so easy?
It's quite simple. From when I was young,
Right.
I would get a lawnmower, a manual lawnmower, take it to pieces,
Right?
and actually clean it up, put
Okay.
oil in it, put it back together. And it's just like that. You have to deassemble and assemble.
Right.
And put a structure and a system to it. Doesn't matter how big or how small, it's understanding the components that make a business, that make a deal, and don't become too involved in one part of it. You've got to look at the whole part.
And do you think having a team helps doing that? Are you
I'm,
like a
I'm a
one-man
team
army?
builder,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
Of course.
I actually work with teams. And then I have a protocol where I'll deal with the person right at the top and a few others, and that's it.
That's
Because
it.
you cannot, you know, run yourself with too many things in one business. So I'm very focused on actually sitting down with a person who'd be responsible and just find out, and then I'll move on to the next one.
Okay, fine. But then, do you find that, because a lot of the businesses that you do it's not just in the UK, again, like I said, you're never in the same country. Everything that you do is, I think it's all over the world, really, in all honesty. So how do you manage everything? Like, because I feel like your phone goes off every 5 seconds of the day. So how do you manage with the, you know, the different time zones and everything else?
I've been doing this for a long time, so it's part
become
of
an
my
expert.
it's part of my DNA. And you know, when you're moving and you're doing things, what happens is when things are put in front of you because of your connectivity, and because you know it's been like this for me for 30, 40 years, so it's become very easy now. And these are sort of times when you're looking at, you know, a business, let's say right now, the economy of the UK and how we navigate our way through it, I think as an entrepreneur, we have to go back to the drawing board.
Of course.
We have to study what we've been doing and then think about it and restructure, reorganize and deliver in a different way, because the whole economy has changed, the system has changed. So these are challenging times, but I love challenges.
That we know. It's always great to go to you with a challenge, because I'm like, Sasa, I have no idea what I'm doing. And then Sasa's like, no, Shin, this is exactly what you do. You do A, B, C, D, and that's it. And basically I sort out all my problems with Sasa's
And you've
help.
done very well. You've delivered.
I wouldn't say I did well, but alhamdulillah,
you have.
I will say with everyone's help, and of course Sasa doing as much as he can, it's been very easy to live in the UK without my parents, because I have someone to take care of me. But enough about what I think of Sasa. But of course, you've also built, a lot of the projects have been nominated by International Property Awards. Now, what I do notice with a lot of your work is that you combine your projects with a lot of community work. So you're not only just delivering on the numbers on the basis of, let's say, money, but it's also that it gives back to the community. Why is community so important for you?
The reason is that we have an opportunity to help people and to make that change. And when you can do that, what better way but to look at your own community and give knowledge, give support. And I always believe a community is as strong as the weakest part of the community. So we're working with, right now, people who found it very difficult during this time of, the cost of living.
Right.
So I'm an ambassador for the Hackney Food Bank. And then we have the things we do in Bangladesh. So we have maternity hospital there. And then we have the Bangladesh Female Academy. And then, I get called out to do quite a lot of stuff in different places, like supporting film and art.
Yep.
Because I always believe in supporting art through the visual side. And it gives a strong identity to the next generation that they actually come from a very strong culture. Because there's always questions about, how was our country before the British went there?
Right.
But what we don't realize that in the Bengal, our GDP was 27% before the British went there. And, through time, the Bengalis will always rise because of their cultural identity, their sense of working and their ethics. So as I'm looking now for the future of Bangladesh, you're seeing a lot of young people who are dynamic. And, when they're leaving Bangladesh and going to other countries, other jurisdictions,
Right.
they are actually doing so well. And so the future is looking amazing.
Inshallah, I can't wait.
Subject to the political side being sorted out.
Just had to put that
That's
in there.
where I don't really get involved
No,
in
of
politics.
course. That's fine. But Sasa, we don't have too long left, which is annoying because there's so much I need to ask you, but we've only got so much anyways in terms of time. But for someone who's looking to get into business, of course, a youth, what would you advise them? Because, of course, when we're looking at business, we think so many things, but we also think about community. And I feel like, we don't think of these things when we're drawing on the board, I guess. So what would you advise someone?
Well, getting into business for young people now is far easier than when I started.
Right.
You've got computers in front of you, you can go into e-commerce, the information that you have in front of you, the network you have in front of you, you don't need to travel, you can do it all through. So this is a dynamic time.
Of course.
And business can grow very quickly if you have the right product, right idea and deliver it. And when you're putting something back in, it's not the value of what you do, it's the actual, thought behind it. And I always say, start small.
Yep.
Then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sasa, for being on the show.
Thank you.